So, good evening. We will start this final public program of this year with the title Why we are all family, warum wir alle Familie sind, the coexistence of species. I'm greeting you in English because the discussion tonight will be in English language with our guests, Tejal Shah and Angela Anderson, who traveled to Vienna both today, and Nina Tabasomi, who also traveled to Vienna today, but had not so far. But all participants will be introduced by colleague Claudia Slanar. The two of us are programming this public program this year and also next year, as it looks like. My name is Christiane Erharter, and I'm the curator here in Belvedere 21, curator for community outreach. And it is a pleasure to have you all here, also to have people here who participated in former programs. So welcome, very warm welcome. So tonight we will present you the films by Tejal Shah and Angela Anderson. Both work on the topic of ecofeminism, and this ecofeminism topic will follow us tonight and tomorrow, as well as the last book by Donna Haraway, Staying with the Trouble, the Making Kin in der Toulousaine. So I'm actually very much looking forward to tonight, to the screening and the discussion afterwards, and also to the program tomorrow. And wish you a nice evening. And Claudia, I would like to hand over to you to make your speech. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Christiane. Yes, good evening on behalf of the Belvedere 21. Like Christiane said, I'm Claudia Slanar and I'm the curator of the cinema. And we kind of designed this program together. And yeah, Christiane said it already. The overall topic is basically why we are all family, the coexistence of species. And of course, this is a reference to Donna Haraway, who's basically our spirit animal for these 2 days, hovering over all the conversations, the film screening, and the discussions that we're gonna have. We selected 3 guests today, as Christiane already said, Tejal Shah, Angela Anderson, and Nina Tabasomi. And because there is something about their works where I think different discourses intersect in their works and are actually complicated in the best way and in the best sense. There's on the one hand the idea of the Anthropocene and its critique. So I'm sure that you've heard of the concept, which is a concept that has been around now for quite a while, and about how human activity basically has been shaping how the world looks like and has a dramatic, or has had a dramatic impact on other species, on inanimate and animate nature as well. Then there's also the discourse of eco-intersectionality, as Angela has named it in her work, as the fundamental understanding that women's oppression is basically linked to the domination of nature, like through extracting, fracking, exploitation, but also that there is, of course, the topic of intersectionality related to that. So it's not only about gender and, yeah, basically gender, but also about race and sexuality and subjectivity. And these subjectivities, actually, they are a topic of, or one of the topics of Tejal Shah's work. And also the topic of making kin, like you already said in Donna Haraway's work, I think this is very strongly related to in Tejal Shah's work that we're going to see tonight. And last but not least, Nina Tabasomi, she curated Eco Cinema, this from August till November, and in the text you're kind of creating this idea of ecologics, of care and empathy. And I think this is also something that I want to raise in a discussion, what that means in contrast to basically the capitalism or the ideas of capitalism, the idea of wealth and value that we're surrounded with. Yeah, without much further ado, I think, yeah, just for the how we're gonna do this in this next 2 hours, there will be Angela first giving a short presentation, because all the 2 film programs, basically, or the 2 screenings that we're gonna see, are actually video installations. In one case, it's a 3-channel video installation. In the other case, a 5-channel video installation. So both artists, Tejal and Angela, will give a brief introduction of how the actual video installation was conceived and how it was presented, because I think there's actually a fundamental difference between a single-channel video and its screening in a cinema and a 5-channel installation in an exhibition space. So, yes, they will give both a short introduction and of the video installation, then we will screen their work. And then we will have basically the roundtable discussion where Nina will join us and say a little bit more about eco-kino, eco-cinema. So please welcome Angela Anderson now. And I'm going to give a short introduction. Your work is called 3 or More Ecologies, a feminist articulation of eco-intersectionality, Part 1. For the world to live, patriarchy must die. Yes, we will hear about it more. Angela is an artist and researcher working at the intersection of the fields of philosophy, ecology, economics, migration, and feminist and queer theory. During 2018 and 19, she was an art and theory fellow at Künstlerhaus Büchsenhausen in Innsbruck. And recent video works include the audiovisual research projects Unearthing Disaster from 2013 to 15, and The Refrain 2015 with the video artist Angela Melitopoulos. And with the video artist Angela Melitopoulos, The Sea Between You and Me in 2016. And the project Crossings in 2017, which was shown in Documenta 14. Recent exhibition of yours include Tiroler Kunstpavillon, I make it really short, I read it really quickly, Minnesota Street Project in San Francisco, Holbeck Images, Framer Framed, Amsterdam, and the Thessaloniki Biennale in 2015. Her work has also been screened at different film festivals, for example, the Forum Expanded in Berlin. And she's currently pursuing her PhD at the Academy of Fine Arts. Oh, this is a hot topic, yes. So thank you for coming all the way, and yes, please start your presentation.
Thank you very much. I'll just go up here to the computer. And yes, thank you, Claudia and Christiane, for the kind invitation, and I'm so happy to be here with Tejal and Nina together, so I look forward to our discussion afterwards. I'm actually going to, I don't know, do we want to turn down the lights in the audience, maybe? A little bit? Maybe this thing, or I don't know. So, okay. I want to actually give you a little bit more context before you watch the film, because I think probably not all of you are familiar with the locations that appear. So this is actually going to be my introduction. Here you see, maybe you recognize this as a normative map of the United States of America. And so I'm from the state of Wisconsin, which is there in the middle, and this is kind of a long story, I'll make it short, but as I was working on this project, Unearthing Disaster, which is a long-term research project on the gold mine that's being built in northeastern Greece, that was started in 2013. I was thinking about gold mining, but at the same time I had read an article about the oil boom in North Dakota. And when I read this article, I was really shocked, and I thought, since when is there oil in North Dakota? And this was the beginning of my research into the Bakken shale oil boom, which really started in 2008 with the development of fracking technology. So right now, as of 2018, I think this is from, there are over 23,000 active fracked oil wells in the state of North Dakota in the US. And you probably heard of the Standing Rock protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline that happened 2 years ago, I believe, or maybe it was even 3 years ago now. So this is a map, close-up map of North Dakota and South Dakota, and you'll see here in the middle is the Standing Rock Reservation. Further up north, I guess up and to the left, you see another sort of darker tan area around that, what looks like a lake. This is the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation, the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Rikora peoples. And this is where a majority of the oil development is taking place. And so when Standing Rock happened, this was a protest against one pipeline. And this pipeline is coming carrying oil that's being produced in further north on the reservation further north of Bismarck. And I don't want to be too long-winded, but I just want to show you what I saw. When I read the article about the fracking, I went onto Google Earth satellite view and I took a look at North Dakota. And I saw these little tan dots on the map. And I thought, what is this? It looks like the entire area is divided up into a grid-like sort of dot system. And every single one of these is actually an oil well, or many oil wells. Just a little note about this lake that you see there. It's not actually a lake, that's the dammed Missouri River, which was dammed in 1946. There were 4 dams built on the Missouri River, and this is right after, let's say, 70 years after the reservations were created. These dams were put in to, provide water for agricultural irrigation, and also to prevent flooding in the majority white towns along the Missouri River. And these lands flooded 700 miles of First Nations land in South Dakota, North Dakota. And I just wanted to give you this is the picture of the chairman of the Fort Berthold Reservation in 1946 as he's being forced to sign the agreement to allow the United States Army Corps of Engineers to build the dam. Here's just another little close-up of these fracking wells. And here's a 3D rendering that some New York Times journalists did a few years ago to try to visualize what these wells would look like if they would be above ground. They go 2 miles down and 2 miles horizontally each well. So basically underneath the western part of the state of North Dakota looks like Swiss cheese underground. The second location in my film is in Rojava in northern Syria. And I was inspired to bring these 2 locations together after the Standing Rock protests and watching the experiments in feminist, post-nationalist democracy happening in northern Syria since 2012. As you probably know, and somehow prophetically, now after Erdogan has started to basically wipe Rojava off the face of the map, US troops are now there guarding the oil wells. Well, I was there last year in August for 10 days, and I could feel this. I had the premonition that something like this could potentially happen. What you see there, here we have Syria over on the right-hand side, and you see the border with Turkey, and further on the right side is Iraq. So right there in the sort of corner of Iraq and Turkey and Syria up there is the autonomous region of Rojava. You see now a little bit more, this is kind of the territory. Right now, Turkey has been around this area of Syria is where a lot of the bombing has been happening. And I was visiting a women's village project called Jinwa, which means women's freedom, which is between Kamishli and Derbasia. And we can talk more about that afterwards. And like Claudia said, this was a video installation when I show it. Normally it's 3 channels. To give you an idea of what it would look like, would it be on 3 screens. Along with this, I produced 2 images that I gave the title Gaslighting, which I find to be very appropriate. One is a out-of-control gas flare, which I photographed, and the other one is me trying to map the gas flares that are burning constantly in North Dakota since 2008. They have burned a massive amount of natural gas into the atmosphere, leaked insane amounts of methane into the atmosphere. Yeah. And that's a little bit what it's a dirt painting with LED lights. This is what it looks like when it's not lit up. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of an introduction into the film, and I hope you have a nice screening. Thank you.
Please welcome Tejal Shah here at the stage. Just a brief introduction. Tejal was born in Bilai, is that right? Yeah, she grew up in Chhattisgarh. I don't know if I pronounce it right, I hope I do, and moved to Mumbai in 1995. She obtained her bachelor's degree in photography from the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, and during her last year at the RMIT, she was an exchange scholar at the School of the Art Institute in Chicago. In 2008, she received her master's degree in fine arts from Bard College in New York, and she has previously exhibited at the Museum of Modern Art in Oslo, at the Whitechapel Gallery in London, the Gujral Foundation in New Delhi, and the Centre Pompidou in Paris. And in 2012, she was an artist of documenta. Her practice has incorporated video installation, performance, and photography that slips between the boundaries of each of these media to invoke the fluid conceptions of race, gender, and subjectivities, like I said before. Yeah, and please introduce your work, Between the Waves, and you also have a little bit of a presentation or to flip through some images about the installation. Thank you.
Thank you. So, firstly, I really want to thank both Christina and Claudia for inviting me to this program. And I absolutely love the title of this program, Why We Are Family, Why We Are All Family, the Coexistence of Species. And I'm also very honored to be here with Angela's work and with Nina's work. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you everybody for coming this evening. I mean, after watching this very beautiful work, you're going to have to switch modes a little bit. I'll just say a few things to introduce this project, which is called Between the Waves. It's actually a 5-channel video installation, and it's the first time, as far as I can remember, that it's showing like this, you know, the 5 video pieces are just going to show in a sequence. So one correction about my bio is that I never finished getting a master's degree from Bard College, so I don't have a MFA. But I am pursuing a master's degree right now in Buddhist philosophy and practice. So it's very interesting to see all the crossovers between our works. So my work has always engaged a lot with gender, sexuality, the subaltern, the people left on the periphery. But for this particular project, it's like this project had been kind of brewing inside me for a very long time. And a lot of causes and conditions had to come together to manifest a work like this. You will notice that actually there is no speech, there's no human speech in this work. And that was one of the challenges that I wanted to work with, that, you know, there was a lot to say, and I wanted to try and say that without using any speech. I was also very interested in, like I have also, I mean, in my background, I've also been an activist, and I really wanted to know how to move from the space of reaction, anger, aggression, into also something which was regenerative, internally, a space of non-aggression internally. I don't mean the outward manifestation, but the internal feeling. Actually, can there be a little bit more light on the audience? Because I can't see people's faces, so yeah, thank you. And so a part of the process of working on this project was really seeing that how can you love everything? You know, you love the whole process, you love the image, you touch everything, and you literally, so the process of working was also in a way allowing the work to guide me about what it should be or it should not be. So, at that point, I was thinking a lot about the intersection of the human, the animal, the machine, and the divine. And I wanted to see what happens when feminism, queer politics, post-pornography, spirituality, all these four things meet in an ecological space. So those are just a few things to share about the work. So I wanted to just show you a few images of what the installation looked like, because how you will experience the work is very different. So there are 5 channels. Here you can see 2 of those 5 channels. It's quite an immersive space, and the 3rd channel is over there. In the sequence of how you will watch the films now, it'll be channel 1, that's channel 4, that's channel 5, and channel 2, and this is another avatar of the project, another installation of the projects, just so you get a sense of how the space is. Okay, and then this is another channel here, and then there is some collage works that I did alongside this project. I won't take too much time, I just wanted to give you an idea. So yes, between the waves, occupying the spaces in between. So we'll just watch now the 5 channels in a sequence. Okay, thank you.